Welcome to the deep dive. Looking at the world stage this past week, it really feels like things have been moving incredibly fast, almost like a rapid-fire sequence of major global events.
It really has. Just a whirlwind, like you said. Significant developments across different continents, pushing boundaries, a lot to unpack.
Absolutely. So today, that's what we're doing. We're diving deep, trying to cut through some of that noise. We'll unpack three, I think, really critical developments. The ongoing intense conflict in Ukraine and Russia.
Yeah, that continues to escalate.
Then there's this highly unusual military action by the U.S. down in the Caribbean. Quite shocking, actually.
Very unusual, yes. We need to look at that closely.
And finally, a really powerful display of force from China. A huge military parade that brought together some, well, unexpected leaders on the same stage.
Right. So our mission today for you listening is really to get past the headlines. We want to pull out the key bits of information, the insights from these events, so you can quickly get up to speed on these major geopolitical shifts.
We'll look at the facts, the reactions, and what it all might mean down the road.
The potential implications. Exactly.
Okay, let's start with the war in Europe. It's just relentless, isn't it? Like a double-edged blade hitting both sides hard.
It really is. And Ukraine was under intense fire this past week. One of the largest bombardments we've seen in months, actually.
Yeah, Russia unleashed this massive, coordinated assault. Over 500 drones, I read. And not just the attack ones, but also these decoys, sherids.
That's right. Low-cost decoys basically designed to overwhelm or saturate the air defenses, make them waste ammunition, reveal their positions.
So they clear the way for the more advanced stuff, like the Caliber cruise missiles, the KH-101s. It sounds like a really planned, multi-layered attack.
It absolutely was. And Ukrainian air defenses, well, they reported intercepting a huge number, over 430 drones and 21 missiles.
Which sounds impressive. I mean, that's a lot of intercepts.
It is. But, the sheer volume meant that damage still got through. Significant damage reported in, I think, 14 different localities.
And critically, not just near the front lines, right? These hit deep into central and western Ukraine.
Exactly. Far from the main combat zones, targeting energy infrastructure in places like Shen and Ivano-Frankivsk, trying to cripple things.
And sadly, the human cost, too. 2 civilians killed, one in Zaporizhia, one in Khmelnytsky, over 35 injured. It just shows how this type of warfare really reaches everyone now.
It does. And this strategy, using decoys to saturate defenses, then hitting with precision strikes, it fundamentally changes the defense game. Even a really good air defense system can get overwhelmed.
So even a small percentage getting through can cause major problems.
Precisely. The key takeaway here isn't just that the wars move beyond the front lines, it's that this constant reciprocal drone and missile stuff erodes any sense of rear security. Every city is potentially vulnerable. It changes the whole psychology of the conflict.
And it's crucial to remember, this isn't a one-way street. Russia was also reporting attacks, right?
Oh, absolutely. They reported extensive Ukrainian drone attacks during the same period. Their defense ministry claimed they intercepted and destroyed 105 Ukrainian drones.
So it highlights that symmetrical nature you mentioned. Drones hitting Rostov, Bryansk, Krasnodar.
Yeah, 25 in Rostov, 24 in Bryansk, 20 in Krasnodar, plus over the Black Sea, Sea of Azov, even reaching places like Kaluga, Crimea, Smolensk. It shows Ukraine's growing capability to hit back deep inside Russia.
Mirroring Russia's tactics, essentially.
Exactly, a truly reciprocal cycle of strikes.
And there was actual damage reported in Russia, too.
Yes, tangible impacts. In Rostov, apparently a non-exploding projectile hit a train station roof in Kutinkovo, damaged some buildings.
Okay.
And in Bryansk, debris from downed drones hit an apartment building, some houses, even cars.
So looking at both sides then, what's the big picture here? What does this tell us about the war now?
Well, the main insight, I think, is that this conflict is no longer just about ground battles on the front lines. We're seeing this intense, ongoing back-and-forth drone and missile war. It bypasses traditional battlefields.
And hits civilians and infrastructure far away.
Right. It forces both sides into this constant cycle of improving air defense while also developing better offensive drone and missile tech. It's an aerial arms race playing out in real time with, very real consequences for ordinary people.
Okay, so from that escalating aerial war in Europe, let's pivot now. Closer to home, actually. The Caribbean. Something truly, unprecedented unfolded there.
Yeah.
A U.S. military action that's got a lot of people talking.
Yes, this one definitely stands out. It started with a very direct public announcement from former President Trump.
Yeah, I saw that quote. We just literally blew up a boat carrying drugs, a lot of drugs. And then he added, and there's more where that came from. Very blunt.
Extremely blunt. And what was also unusual was the delivery. He posted drone footage on his social media.
Showing a boat.
Showing a speedboat, yes, with people visible on board. Then it explodes, catches fire, out in the open sea.
Wow. I mean, that kind of public, almost real-time disclosure with visual proof, that's not typical for counter-drug ops, is it? They're usually much quieter.
Far more discreet, typically, yes. And he gave specifics, too. Claimed 11 dead in action.
Right. And no U.S. casualties.
Correct. And he identified the crew. Said they were members of this Venezuelan gang, Tren de Aragua.
Which the U.S. designated as a transnational criminal group back in February, and linked it directly to Maduro.
Exactly. Directly accused Maduro of controlling it. So that immediately adds this thick layer of geopolitical tension. It's not just about drugs anymore.
Which naturally brought up questions, Venezuela's reaction.
Their Minister of Communications, Fred Knows, immediately questioned it. Suggested the video might be AI-generated.
Okay, though Reuters apparently checked and didn't find obvious signs of manipulation, but said they were still verifying fully.
Right. And importantly, there was silence from the official channels. Neither the White House nor the Pentagon offered more details. Nothing on the type or amount of drugs or how the attack was actually done.
That lack of official confirmation just adds to the confusion and controversy, doesn't it?
It absolutely does. But what really makes this action so significant, so radical, is the tactic itself.
Exploding the boat instead of stopping it.
Exactly. Instead of intercepting, seizing the drugs as evidence, arresting the crew, that's standard procedure. Blowing it up, extremely uncommon.
You usually see that kind of kinetic force against, like, terrorist groups in war zones, right? Middle East, maybe?
Precisely. Not in Caribbean counter-narcotics.
Yeah.
Adam Saxon from OLA, the Washington office on Latin America, made a very pointed comment. He said, suspicion of carrying drugs does not entail a death sentence.
Puts it starkly.
It does. And you know, this isn't just a minor tactical shift. It feels like a potential redefinition of the rules of engagement in these kinds of operations. It blurs the lines between military action and law enforcement.
And it could set a precedent, couldn't it? Where force is seen as a quicker fix for complex problems.
That's the concern, especially when you consider the context. The significant U.S. military buildup in the Southern Caribbean just happened. 7 warships, a nuclear sub, thousands of Marines and sailors.
Yeah, the USS Antonio, USS Iwo Jima, P-8 spy planes. That sounds like a lot more firepower than you'd normally need just for drug interdiction.
It certainly does. And while the stated objective from Trump was going after cartels, and Secretary of State Rubio kind of echoed that, acknowledging the drugs were probably headed for Trinidad or elsewhere.
Venezuela sees it differently.
Completely. Caracas is alarmed. They fear the real target isn't just traffickers, but the Venezuelan government itself. Especially with the U.S. doubling the bounty on Maduro to $50 million, they see it as destabilization.
And they dispute the whole premise about the gang.
Right. Maduro's government insists that the Tren de Aragua gang was dismantled back in 2023 in a prison operation. They say it's not active in the country anymore, so they're casting doubt on the U.S. justification for the strike.
So the key takeaway from this whole Caribbean incident.
It's this really unprecedented, that public appearance together, this nuclear-armed trio, as some called it, all under Western sanctions of some kind. It sends a powerful message, doesn't it? A visual statement of a united front challenging the current world order.
A very unmistakable message. And the reactions were, well, predictable. Trump's response.
Sarcastic, as you might expect, posted on social media. Please give my warmest greetings to Vladimir Putin and Kim Jong while you conspire against the United States of America.
Subtle.
Not very. The Kremlin tried to downplay it a bit. Yuri Ushakov, Putin's advisor, suggested Trump as being ironic, but also took a little big, implying U.S. actions contribute to the current complex international situation.
And Trump, when asked about this potential Russia-China axis,
brushed it off. Not at all concerned, he said. Claimed the U.S. military is the strongest by far, and they'd never use their army against us. Very confident, almost defiant.
Okay, but beyond the diplomacy and the social media jabs, the real substance of the event was the hardware, right? The military tech on display.
That was the main event, really. China showcasing its next-gen military power. They officially presented their new aerospace and cyberspace forces.
Signaling that focus on future warfare domains.
Exactly. A formal recognition of those new battlegrounds. And even more significantly, they demonstrated their complete strategic nuclear triad capability. Publicly, like this, for the first time.
So land, sea, and air nuclear launch capabilities.
All 3. Land-based Dongfeng 61 ICBMs, Sea-based Julang-3 submarine-launched missiles. That was a first public display, a big deal for their hidden second strike capability, and air-launched capabilities with the Jingli one.
So this puts China firmly in the same league as the U.S. and Russia in terms of having that robust nuclear deterrent.
Unequivocally, yes. It demonstrates a resilient, comprehensive capability.
And it wasn't just the nukes. They showed off conventional stuff, too. Hypersonic missiles.
Oh, yes. The Dongfeng 17 hypersonic missiles. These are a major challenge for current defenses. Extremely fast, but also maneuverable. Very hard to track and intercept.
A real nightmare for defense planners, as some say.
That's the term used, yes. Plus, a new family of Jingles ballistic missiles, the advanced Type 100 tanks, modern jets like the J-20 stealth fighter and the J-35 carrier fighter.
And you mentioned something specific jumped out at you, the J-15DT.
Ah, yes, the J-15DT.
That's quite interesting. It's a new electronic warfare plane for their aircraft carriers. Its job is described as being bait and guide.
Bait and guide, how does that work?
It basically flies out, tries to draw enemy fire, maybe jam enemy radar, and simultaneously helps guide friendly missiles onto their targets. It acts as a force multiplier, making the whole carrier air wing more effective and survivable.
Sophisticated stuff. And it seems like they've been watching recent conflicts closely, like Ukraine.
Definitely appears that way. Analysts noted a real emphasis on anti-drone systems in the parade, and also advanced early warning aircraft, like their Kongjin 600 AWACS plane.
Suggests they're learning lessons about air defense, situational awareness.
Absolutely, learning from modern warfare and adapting their forces.
And then there was that final, kind of startling image, the robot dog. Ugh. The armed robot wolf. Yes, a four-legged robot with a weapon mounted on its back. It wasn't just a concept, it was part of the display, a clear statement about their investment in autonomous systems and future warfare tech, but potentially unsettling tech, some might say.
Definitely eye-catching. So,
Yeah.
taking the whole parade together, the leaders, the message, the hardware, what's the ultimate point China was making?
Well, Xi Jinping's declaration was pretty clear. China's rise is unmistakable and unstoppable, and this parade was meant to show the military might backing that claim. Having Putin and Kim there alongside him wasn't just about friendship.
It was a rejection of the unipolar world.
Exactly, a very public rejection of a U.S.-dominated global order. A signal that they, along with others, intend to forge a different path, a multipolar world. It's a declaration of ambition backed by demonstrated capability.
So the key insight from Beijing.
It's multi-layered. China's assertive stance, its rapid military modernization across every domain, land, sea, air, space, cyber, and its clear intent to reshape the global power structure. This wasn't just celebrating history, it was projecting future power and ambition.
Wow, what a week it's been. Truly intense. We've covered the escalating complex war in Europe, now hitting far beyond front lines.
Forcing everyone to rethink security.
Then, that startling U.S. tactic shift in the Caribbean, blurring lines between law enforcement and military action, raising huge legal and geopolitical questions.
Especially regarding Venezuela.
And finally, China's massive display. Military power, advanced tech, and that symbolic alignment with Russia and North Korea, signaling a push for a new global order.
Yeah, it's a week that really highlights the volatility, the speed of technological change, and the shifting power dynamics that are defining everything right now.
So as you, our listener, think about all this, here's something to mull over. What does this incredibly active week, from the drone wars to kinetic strikes to military parades, really tell us about the future balance of power? And maybe more profoundly, how will these rapid technological leaps keep changing the very meaning, the very morality of conflict itself?